Band of the Day today is Aerosmith, brought to you by Live Nation. Aerosmith's coming to the Delta Center November 27th. Tickets go on sale today at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com for all of the live concerts and events in 2024. Check out LiveNation.com.
And let me apologize for my partner. They're coming to Delta Center. And Pope is going to Rupp Arena.
It is official. The announcement has been made by the University of Kentucky. Mark Pope has been hired away from BYU, and the Cougars are looking for a new men's basketball coach.
Yeah, BYU sent out an email. There's a statement from Tom Homo, and he's headed that way. In other words, he will walk this way. Just give me a kiss.
We have an app, and it has an open mic feature, and you can, right now, grab that open mic and let us know if you want PK ever to sing again or if he should leave the market.
What I want to know, today being Friday, let's see who could sing Walk This Way the best.
Try and, break your larynx or whatever Steven Tyler did.
Walk this way. Just give me a kiss. I like this.
All right, send in your nominees right here.
I bet you nobody could beat me. I guarantee it.
Okay.
I know it. Come on, I dare you. I defy you.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you double dog dare him.
I don't breach etiquette just yet. You don't jump to that.
Even if inevitably we know where everyone's going.
No, there won't be anybody there because they don't have
dare you.
They don't have the
I
courage.
double dare you.
They don't have
I double
courage.
dog dare you.
They don't have the courage because they know they can't win.
All right. Grab the app, use the open mic, and that should get awful later this hour.
Walk this way.
Question on our Facebook page: will the hockey team in Salt Lake City take away any of your love of the Jazz or college basketball? Leroy says, I have the capacity to love many. Laughing, winking emoji.
Well, I mean, this is a community.
And then on the other end, you got Aaron. Does anyone love the Jazz current 0-13 losing streak? Maybe the Jazz need to start paying people to come see their games.
No, that's the other way around, man. You weren't at Delta Center last night. The electricity at Delta Center. I thought Delta Center was struck by lightning.
I think it was, actually. I think that's what happened. Is they beat the Houston Rockets and snapped that 13-game losing streak.
So proud of them.
Lines will remember different seasons by. 98, Jordan pushed off. 2024, I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, I am. Delta Center was electric. It was like Aerosmith on steroids.
Travis says the real question here is if the new hockey team played a game of basketball, would they also beat the Jazz?
No. Especially if they had to do it on skates.
Good call by you.
It's going to be interesting to see if there's any reduction. I don't think so, but you never know, man. Especially if one team is winning and the other team isn't.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like on day one, there'll be enough curiosity and all that. But somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. And if the hockey team comes
Charlie's got the blues.
If the hockey team comes in and performs the way it has the last 10 to 12 years in Arizona, it's going to be hard to maintain enthusiasm, you would think.
So you think they'll bomb?
Well, the Jazz came in the first 5 years, and they hadn't done anything in New Orleans. They'd lost a lot.
And
they lost a lot here.
Today.
People get on board when they win.
You do this all the time. You go back 40 years, and somehow that has a relevance to today?
I don't think anything's changed about winning and popularity. When you win, you're more popular.
That's not the point.
It is the point.
No. The point is, do people go away when you lose? Because that's a given. That sun rises in the east. That'll never change. That's the biggest duh you're going to say today. If you win, you become more popular. That's not the discussion. The discussion is how popular are you when you lose? That's the discussion.
The discussion, I thought, is the hockey team going to take away your love of Jazz or college basketball? They have to win to do that, and they haven't been coming anywhere near winning enough to do that. So the easy answer to this question is no, unless the hockey team gets a lot better. They're 7th place in an 8-team division. They've been to the playoffs.
Yeah, but you don't follow it. I mean, you just look at stats. We had
And
the guy on yesterday saying they got all these young draft choices,
Exactly.
young players,
And if they,
blah, 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 blah,
if they turn it around, then they have a chance to pull people away from other fan bases.
Not so sure about that.
Now, we do have people here.
The Cardinals did not turn it around, and they pulled people away from the Sun Devils, and they didn't turn it around for like the first 30 years. So I don't know that that's true.
But that's the NFL. And it has a power all its own that other leagues, certainly not the NHL,
but
the other
the
leagues.
Cardinals were barely the NFL.
That's true, but it's still the NFL.
They sucked forever, and I don't know that it was the NFL the way the NFL is now in the 80s.
They will have a core to build off of here. I think Steve represents them. I never liked basketball to begin with. I can't wait for hockey to be here.
You don't like basketball?
That's what Steve says.
I mean, I don't love it, but I've never disliked it, and there are times I love it. I'm just speaking generally. You got a 7-game series in which every game is going down to the wire. I love that.
Michael says go to one game and you'll be hooked. Hockey is awesome, and there will be a fanatic fan base in the Valley. If you know, you know.
Oh, is that like soccer? You people?
FKYK.
If you know, you know.
David thinks it's going to be its own thing. He says probably a little bit of a different audience.
To a degree. If you want to say a little bit, I'll agree.
Jane says maybe if it was an expansion team that was born in Utah, bringing in the Coyotes, a.k.a. the Yotes, they're already bad, so no. He's not giving them any hope to turn it around with the young guys and the draft picks that you speak of.
But nobody knows. They're not following it.
Nope.
There can't be more than 10 Arizona Coyotes fans in our state.
And what we've been told, too, as we've done these interviews, not just our show, but other shows, also is the impact this year of playing in a college arena and knowing they might be moving, and especially the second half of the season because they got off to a pretty good start. How much does that weigh on them? And that will all be resolved if they move. I mean, these are people here. It's not just fantasy stats, plug them in and play. Plus, you add more talent.
Stability is always welcome.
Matt says, I'm open to giving hockey a chance, but it will take time. Jazz, Utes, then something else. That's the core listener we're talking to right there, right?
Cougars.
Jazz, Utes, then something else.
Well, and that something else is Cougars. He just doesn't want to admit it.
Melody says, I'm not much of a college basketball fan. I'm a big Jazz fan. I'm an NBA fan in general. I'm open to supporting a hockey team. I just need to understand the game more.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Yep. I mean, that's about as reasonable as it gets, really. I appreciate the reasonable outlook and take on that.
Dan says, I have no love for the Utah Jazz, so no problem there. NHL team will be far more fun and interesting to follow.
Okay, then you wouldn't be cutting away from the Jazz, though.
Nope.
You're not something that they're targeting because apparently you have zero interest.
Not your thing. But I just don't know that they can build a whole thing off of that. They have to pull some people away.
I don't think that there's going to be hockey fans exclusive who then don't pay attention to anything else. I mean,
that's a very small group.
We got Pablo coming on, and he'll reference other sports.
Yeah. He pays attention to other
he's
sports
up to his eyeballs in soccer because that's his job. But he
still references the NFL.
And when we used to have Ellinger in, that guy, he talked about anything.
Yeah.
Their first coach. Yeah. So usually, if you're a sports fan, you're going to have your pecking order, but you're still going to be fairly interested in other sports. I haven't been interested because it hasn't been required to follow hockey for 3 decades. But when I was in California, I had to know Luc Robitaille and Marty McSorley and all those dudes that were on that team. Because at any time, I could be tapped, hey, we need you to do this. And I did, and they did do that. So I could talk at that point, but I can't now, but I will. Because it hasn't been required.
All sports are local, and now we'll have a local team.
And I think it's fairly easy to at least have a general knowledge. I don't think it's that hard. If you watch the sport for a month,
you're going to pick up
you
some
can
stuff.
have a feel.
Yeah.
I'm not ever going to be a technical coach. I'm never going to be a technical guy in soccer. But I watch their games, and away we go. And I got a feel for what's going on. I'm not an expert by any stretch. I've covered it here and there over the years, but just scattered. Never been a full-time assignment to where I delve in it deeply. But you just watch the games, and you can get a feel. And then you watch a few games, and you see, okay, this guy does this guy does that, and whatever it might be. And you know who the players are and what their roles are on the team. I don't think it takes that long to at least minimally have what I would call, quote unquote, a working knowledge. Now, I realize for the fan, it isn't the word working doesn't apply. It applies to us. Casual knowledge or whatever you want to say. Ours is working because that's literally what it is.
And I think there's a lot of crossover between some of these sports. Actually, we'll talk about this with Pablo coming up. He's got a great. You are so gonna love this story when three sports come together. You're gonna wish you had been there for it. And so the overlap between all of the free flowing sports, whether it's basketball, hockey, soccer, probably lacrosse. I don't know it very well, but I don't know it at all. But I think what I know of it is that it's all about how do you create an advantage? How do you create that one-player advantage and get 3-on-2, get 2-on-1, and give yourself a better chance to score? So a lot of it you'll pick up pretty quickly.
Oh, man, I got Diego Luna coming down the middle. I got Chicho over here on the left. Yeah, I've got freaking Magic, James Worthy, and Michael Cooper.
It's just like you run a 3-on-1 break at the park back in the day before you turned off the lights and drove across town and listened to sports talk radio and dreamed about your future.
Except I was taking it to the rack.
Yeah, throwing it down.
I'm not throwing it down. I mean, a reverse layup. I could barely touch the bottom of the net. They made a movie about me.
Mm-hmm. White men can't jump.
Exactly.
There it is.
Rosie Perez.
Justin, I think it'll be a great addition to the Utah sports scene. I'd definitely go to a few games a year.
Cool. Especially if they're cheaper.
Yeah, how will it be priced?
If it doesn't cost an arm and a leg for the proverbial family of four, or you're your wife, you're your buddy, whoever it might be, your son, your daughter. If it's more economical on you, then yeah. Why not? At the very least, it's a night out.
That's positive.
Break the routine.
Yep. And the accident is constant. That's not a game that stops a lot. I worked with a guy in Sacramento, John Hank. He was from Minnesota. Huge hockey guy. He said, my dad always says, what's with basketball? What's with all these whistles? The game stops a lot. Hockey doesn't stop nearly as much. It always feels like there's something about to happen.
Yeah, I suppose. One thing I'm not a big fan of, and I know some people get off on it, I don't like the fighting.
A lot less of that than there used to be.
I don't like any of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like NBA scuffles. I don't go to see you guys fight.
I can go see people fight if I want to see them fight.
I don't turn on the TV to see you guys do that. I want to see you guys play. That's the thing, and I don't want to see any sport. Some of them can entertain you, but hockey, it just seems like
go to the hockey to see the hockey. If I want to see a fight, I'll go to UFC.
I don't mind a bench clearing nothing in baseball because that's comical.
And those guys have no intention of fighting.
Right. And they
run out there like a
guys who are
they run in from the bullpen.
Come running in. The backup catcher's got his full gear on, and he's trying to run into the mix. You know what I mean? Just go stay back over there and warm up the pitcher. You ain't going to do anything anyway. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I think a lot of times they wait to see, do we really have to run all the way in there and then run all the way back out here? This might not blow up. It might be big. They're always the last ones in. Before we go to break, and we got Pablo coming up on the other side, Yock's got an update on the BYU. It's changing quickly. For those who are like, it's not official yet. Yeah, it became official a while ago. Just woke
Mattson
up.
Put out a statement.
And it's long, but let's just put it this way. On behalf of myself and Hannah, his wife, we want to thank every single member of the Cal community for your unconditional love and support this year. We have felt welcomed and embraced. Gratitude would be an understatement. We love Cal in the Bay Area. We are excited and fully committed for the future here at Cal. Cross Mark Madsen off BYU's list.
Unless they pay him $5 million.
True, but I don't see that happening.
Cross them off in pencil, but be able to.
Everybody's got a price. So I'm right. They're not going to do it. I get it.
That is the kind of statement, though, made at the time, in a time and in a manner that makes you think, okay, he's not coming. Who's next?
It's Burgess, man. Burgess is my guy.
Well, wasn't it a three-person race?
What do you mean?
Now it's two. Well, who gets the job?
Oh, okay.
The three candidates. The three candidates just went to two.
I think there's a couple of the guys out there. The assistant coach for the Suns. What's his name?
Kevin Young, who's from Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Alex Jensen's on that list. And Casey Beard is on the Houston staff as a member of the church as well.
He's a member of the church, DJ.
There it is.
Yeah. I got information on Alex Jensen that I got last night.
And?
I don't think that he would be interested at this time. I believe he was interested in the Utah job, but I don't think they were interested enough to him. And obviously, this is a big old duh. They weren't interested enough in hiring him. And I can tell you that there's several former players who still bugged by that. Now,
100%.
And I know a lot of those guys because I was with them throughout their entire 4 or 5 years.
There are absolutely ex-players who wanted Alex to get that job, and they wanted it very badly.
Right.
And they're bitter. We'll just leave it at that. They're bitter.
Yes.
And they could probably get over a little bit. Well, their loyalty to Alex, they would never get over it. But it would be greatly minimized if the team were in the NCAA tournament every year. They would at least understand it.
Yeah.
They'd still have their loyalty to Alex, but they'd at least say, this is a really good hire. But the fact
can't argue with results.
But the fact that the team is not in the NCAA tournament and their loyalty to Alex.
And I know the coaching staff has reached out to former players, and this is as recently as last night, having a conversation over the phone with someone that you'd all know, and saying that, boy, they really would have got the support of Doliak, Miller, and Van Horn if they had gone with Alex. But they chose not to. Alex now is very comfortable. I mean, he did not like the way the ending was with the Jazz, he and his wife. That's a fact. It's not been talked about much, but from the Alex Jensen and his wife's perspective, that's guaranteed. That's the truth, how it went down. But he's very comfortable over there in Dallas. He lives in the SMU area, which I've been there because the Utes played there and the Cougars played there back in the 16-team WAC. And that's a high upscale area. He's comfortable in his ward there, I've been told. And so I don't think, but at the same time, they need to call him and see and what was something now could change. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be the coach. To me, I am on the Burgess bandwagon, and I'm not going to get off it.
I think there's a good chance you're going to be really happy. It feels like things are lining up for him. And certainly Mark Madsen issuing a statement right now, if you're Chris Burgess, you got to be happy to see that. Mm-hmm. He's got head coaching experience you don't have. If he wants to take himself out of the running about an hour after Kentucky makes it official,
not even an hour.
And you're right. And it's not even an hour, right?
20 minutes.
And to your point, PK, someone can double back with money and someone can change their mind. So it's not over till it's over. But nonetheless, when you do that in 20 minutes, you're not pining for the job. So
for sure.
Everybody else who wants the job has got to be thinking, sweet, I don't have the resume Madsen has, and he apparently isn't interested. So that moves everybody else up.
I agree 100%. To me, Burgess is as much a no-brainer as Whittingham was for Utah and BYU back in 2004. And Kyle can tell you, I told him 2 months before that he was going to get offered the BYU job. I didn't know that Urban was going to leave, but once Urban left, that he was going to get that, and all of a sudden he had 2 offers, and we know what happened there.
Yeah.
I think it's the same situation. Chris is that kind of guy.
And it needs to happen quickly because the transfer portal, everything happens quickly, and you want to keep the core of that team together. You probably can't keep the whole thing together, but you're never going to keep the whole thing together. Coming up next, Pablo Mastroeni, 3 sports come together. We'll get that story out of him next. Stay with us.
Enough.